Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut here with Mike Kelly, and we are, what are we? Real
Real
Estate
Estate
Jerky
Jerky
Daily. I can't remember where I am all the time.
Yeah, you do a 700 podcast. It seems
But
like.
did you know? I mean, if you figure what we do here 5 times a week times 52 weeks, just this alone in a year,
That's 6 million.
5 times 52. So that's 260. Take out a few for holidays. So you figured 250 episodes just for this.
Yeah, and then you do.
Yeah, I do a lot more. Yes,
You do a lot.
Yeah.
What's the fearing the brave? What is it?
Helping the brave, fearing the brave. Well, you should fear us.
You should.
If you're the government.
Yeah, we're starting to get pissed. I'm not the brave though. But I would be, could be.
Wow.
And then you do Inner Edison,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then your
Eighth is 53 on which is Aces and a Joker, but Aces and a Joker was taken because it was a band. So
yeah,
Ace is 53, 53rd card in the deck.
And then you're a guest podcaster.
Yeah, I do a lot of So I mean, I was on one yesterday, and it was a game show at 7 a.m. and it was all right
in Australia.
Yeah.
How cool.
And one of the questions was, because it was like how to be not a millionaire show. And the question was, something to do about prisoners on a continent and blah, blah, blah. And so, of course, it was Australia. Yeah.
Well, they've done well for themselves.
I guess only one side of the island was the prisoners. The other side was not. So they want to make sure you know that.
And they still have the Aboriginals. What was that?
That was me trying to get rid of something.
Okay.
And congested. It's allergy season.
Yeah, it is allergy season for many. My left eye is dry.
Good for you.
That's my one affliction. I'll moisten it later today.
All right. So there's a lot of news this week. Not really. It's only Friday, but today is new home sales. And what do you think they did with Mr. looking at it?
I'm not looking at it because it's not there. I have a feeling they rose a little bit.
So this is new home sales, right? So this is actually building the homes. New home sales with measured signed contracts on new homes increased by 8.8% in March at a 693,000 annualized pace. February's figure was adjusted down. Shocking to 637,000 units from the previous reported 662,000 units. So what's going to happen next month? The 693,000 they go down to 660 or 670,000.
They'll adjust it down too because one of them wasn't quite new.
Right. The inventory of new homes on the market increased by 2.6% to 477,000 of them across the nation.
Yeah.
The median home price increased by 6% to 430,700. So
wow.
Yeah. So the new home sales
how much
median,
again?
400, 700. I think that's what I said, didn't I? Where'd it go? It's up here. So 430,700.
Okay. And that's nationwide.
Yes, on your side.
I read a report yesterday where the San Joaquin Valley, so that's going to be both Stanislaus and San Joaquin counties, the median price is 475.
I kind of believe it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we were the worst affordable city in the United States.
Hey, we got
something. We got something going for us.
At least they're not stealing our cars like they used to.
No. And then I guess, etch your VIN on your catalytic converter and it'll get stolen less option because they'll have a VIN number on it to where they can track it back to a car.
Yeah. So the people who are buying the stolen ones won't buy the ones with the VIN number.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
The sad thing is they get $30 out of it, but it costs a few hundred, thousands to put it back on.
Exactly. Expensive material, but not on the open black market.
Well, it's like when they used to steal the copper wire, right?
Yep.
They would make, a little bit on it, but it would cost, arm and a leg for us to put it back.
They would make enough to get a hit that day.
Yeah. Whatever that is.
That's something about drug addicts is those guys they work for their hits.
Oh, they just get a job.
Well, they can't hold one because they're so high.
Oh, gotcha. Because they actually have to show up.
Hey, started to read an article this morning. Were you going to talk about anything else?
I was just going to hit go ahead. I can go back.
You do.
All right. So the inventory we talked about yesterday is up $16,582. That's 543,044 nationwide. A lot of people are wondering if the growing inventory is because of slowing demand. But it's not.
Well, no, they're being purchased.
Well, no, that's coming on the market. We've got at 69,000 new listings unsold today. That's 3% more than last week.
Okay.
I mean, a week ago from last week. These numbers are last week, and 14% more than this time last year.
Okay.
So what they're saying is, so everybody's worried that means we're going, that there's people aren't wanting to buy. That's not the case.
Right.
There are more new sellers this week than any other week in 2023. The selling season still has 2 more months of growth potential. Industry professionals, they think they're going to see 70 or 80,000 new listings. All right. In the years prior, I just want to put this in prior to Biden 19. Sorry, COVID-19. Pandemic, the later half of April would normally see 80,000 to 100,000 new listings a week.
Okay.
Now we're at like 69,000.
Right.
So what it's getting at is we're at the point where if we have an increase, it's not because there's people don't want to buy. It's because people are more likely to put their homes on the market during this period of time.
Right. Right. They're getting to the point where they're like, well, maybe 6.5%, 7% isn't so bad if I get a better location.
Well, it's about, once all the vets I talked to, I'm like, you can do the Earl, no big deal. Oh,
Right.
okay, no big deal for them. But you have conventional people, and you have FHA, and you have USDA. They all have to requalify for their loan,
right,
but not VA. Pending sales, if you look at the sales rate, we see that there were 71,000 new contracts started for single family homes this week, which is really good. That's 3% more than last week and 7% more than a year ago.
Well, and the other sales were 3% less.
Yeah, but these are two separate things.
I know.
All right.
I'm saying they're balanced out.
Right. There are still 8% fewer sales happening each week than in 2022. Let's put that in perspective.
Okay.
But I think the last half of 2022 was bad for everywhere else, but California was October.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're saying there's about 385,000 single family homes under contract. That's a 5% growth compared to this time last year. But it's still 14% less than 2 years ago.
Yep. That's true. That's the truth.
And they're saying the median price for single family homes under contract is now $398,000
nationwide.
Yep. And that jumped 2.4% this week. And in fact, at an all new time high. Woohoo!
Ooh.
Yeah. The prices of homes going under contract are 6% more expensive than a year ago. Last year at this time, home prices were lower than in April 2022. Figure that one out. So in April in 23, they were lower than they were in 22 at this time.
Interesting.
Because I think there was a really scare at that time that the sky was falling.
Yeah.
Well, and all those Chicken Little videos out there telling everybody don't do anything because the market is falling was happening.
Yeah.
All right. So
guess what it didn't do?
Well,
yeah.
All right. So you said you're
oh,
I was still shocked that you were reading the article. So
dude, I do every morning. I look for stuff every morning, and most of it is bull caca. Here's why I say it's bull caca is most of it is around the National Association of Realtors NAR settlement with the DOJ, which has not been blessed yet. And there's a possibility that DOJ may open this back up and say it's not enough.
Actually, I think they're going to come back and say this is ridiculous.
Well, that would be. I bet you that would be the smartest.
Here's my thing. I think they're going to come back and say if we saw there was a problem with this, we would have came after them. There was no issue. We see nothing here.
Well, and that's so I'm seeing all these articles, and the one I clicked on this morning said that the way real estate is sold is going to drastically change in the next few months. And I'm like, okay, what do they mean by drastically? Click on it. Hey, if you'd like to read this article, $49 a month to subscribe. And I'm like, no, I don't even know who you guys are, so I won't do that. Guys, I just, from the bottom of my heart and my entire soul, I don't see any drastic changes. If there are changes, it's going to be realtor or agents. Oh my God. Clients will be signing a buyer brokerage agreement with a realtor,
which will protect you and your commission.
Exactly. And you may have to go back and call the agent and say, is the seller offering anything? And if the seller's not offering anything, you get the commission, as much commission as you can out of the buyer. You should not do business without being compensated. We're in this to be compensated. And there is so much exposure to a realtor when you do a deal that compensation kind of makes sense, just in case you have to defend yourself if you're a bad realtor later on.
Well, you need to be able to defend yourself if you do.
Absolutely.
Because you're always going in a down market, you get sued. In an up market, you really don't.
And the reality is, business is going to go on pretty much as usual, in my belief, pretty much as usual. These
You
people,
heard it here first.
yeah, you hear these people saying, "Oh, things are drastically changed," and 6% is gone. 6% isn't gone,
No, they are right. It's going to drastic change. The part timers aren't going to be here anymore,
right?
because they're going to have no control over anything, and they can't just, maybe you can list, but they're not going to be able to buy as a buyer's agent.
And understand, commission has always been 100% negotiable. Always, always, always. 6% is not a set commission. We don't talk to each other and say, "Hey, we're setting it at 6." There's so many agents that do far less. There's so many agents that do far, far greater in commissions, depending on the product that they're selling.
Right.
So things, guys, things aren't going to drastically change, my opinion.
Right. And and I want to go back to my DOJ statement, because the Department of Real Estate, or whatever they're called now, are they back to the Department
California
of
is DRE now. Yeah, back to DRE instead of Bureau of Real Estate.
Yeah. Yeah. If there was a problem, they would have addressed it a long time ago.
Maybe.
No, they would have.
Yeah.
They've been around forever. They're the ones that I want to thank them. When I used to do tons of direct mail, they would always send me a cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
And then I change it and make it better, and then they send another one.
But you learned so much.
I did. It was amazing what you're like, "Oh, you can't say that because of this." Okay, well, let's change it, make it better.
Yeah.
And then you do that, and then they come back for something else. But I just don't think, if there was a problem, they would have addressed it, especially state of California.
Yeah.
We're so litigious,
litigious.
Our government, it was like, we got to control everything. They would have controlled this.
Yeah.
That's why I think they're going to come back and say, maybe some other states might have issues because of their contract, but not here.
Well, in those states, those states where the lawsuit really started have already changed their contract to where it explains how commission is, where it flows.
Right, but that's the reason them changing it said we did something wrong.
Well, you know what we didn't do? Anything wrong.
I know. I'm just saying those states.
The fact that offer and compensation to the cooperating broker creates activity and competition for a better value, a better price for the seller's home, only makes sense. And the buyer kind of pays commission because they purchased the property, but they're not it's not coming out of their proceeds.
Right. So, they don't pay really more for it. They just pay the current
market value. Yeah. And that's because there's competition.
Right. Well, the value is the value. If there was a problem with them paying that in the value, the actual appraiser would say there's no value in this.
Yeah. Could you imagine the appraiser saying, "Well, I know you offered $550. However, the seller's paying a 5% commission. And so let's take off that $25,000, is it 75 grand? Let's take that off because, commission has nothing to do with value. So we're going to back that out of there. And this is the value. That's
that'd be stupidity. Like when they have closing costs in there, they state they're paying this amount of closing costs, but the value's there. Since you brought up appraisers, so I'm still dealing with that 1007 issue.
Are you serious?
Guess what? The unit right next door is rented full time, and he lives up. Yeah, and he lives up there all the time.
There you go.
I know, but it's like, here's my problem.
So you did the research for him.
You have heard that I have a problem and I need to find this out. If you would have told me that, hey, next door 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when you knew this
is a long-term rental,
I could have said, "Oh, by the way, this unit number at this place is a long-term rental. So this person is full of
cock-a-doodle."
You said it, not
I did.
And now, so what we did is we finally, on this thing, we canceled the 1007. They refunded it back to the buyer. We ordered a new 1007, which is a rent survey. And because and then what the sad part was, I've been fighting with this to happen. When I called in yesterday to see it updated, where we at with this project, and the guy's like, "Well, why don't we just do this?" I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ! Nobody else thought of this over the last 2 weeks."
So frustrating.
I know, but we'll get there. And they're like, "Well, the other side's having a problem." Well, why don't you tell the other side it's their fault we're here, because their insurance person for the HOA told us that this wasn't covered. So we've been scrambling for a week or so to get that resolved, and we could have not had to resolve that if they would have really looked at it as an insurance agent and said, "Hey, the hail and wind coverage actually covered under the FAIR plan."
Oh,
not I told you that, right?
Right now.
Yeah. I didn't tell you that. No. Oh, it came up. Well, so what happened was, after almost 2 weeks, the insurance agent comes back for the HOA and says, "Oh, I made a mistake. The hail and wind coverage is under the FAIR plan." You're the damn insurance agent.
So they do have the hail and wind.
Yes, it's under the FAIR plan. Yeah. It's like, come on, people. And so At first I thought it was our mistake. The project
Right.
place that was approving it was the one that had the problem. So I apologized to everybody and said, we, missed this. And then I read it closer because this was last week, Friday or whatever. I was tired. And I replied back, I apologize. It wasn't our person. It was the actual insurance agent that caused this problem.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah. What are you going to do
well,
if you don't even know your product? If you don't know your product.
Yeah. At least you're going to get it fixed.
Yeah, I know, but the listing agent who's newer or whatever, they're all like having problems because we might have to extend it another week because of them.
Well, yeah, but guess what? Extended another week and close escrow. I got to have a shout out for Brad Vondrak. I saw his video this morning. Lots of great information in his little video. If you go to Facebook or what's the other one? The Instagrams.
He's usually on TikTok.
Yeah,
he's always on TikTok.
I think he's always on TikTok, but I see it on the reels of Instagram. Anyway,
the reels of Tuolumne County.
Yeah, he gave some great information as to what's going on with their increase in listings and increase in sales up there in TCAR.
It's the same thing that's going on down here.
I know, but
they're a little bit slower because their time is right now.
Yeah,
everything gets put on the market for the next many months. Boom. And I always say wait till winter so you can cover up that deck issue.
Maybe still disclose that you have a deck issue. That would
but
be
the
right
appraiser doesn't see it unless they fall through it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, by the way, the snow underneath will hold it up.
Or take it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what happens usually with a lot of snow up there. You see the decks fail.
Yeah. Yep. Especially in that Lombard area.
Well, just even in Cold Springs. But the problem up there, Pinecrest, Cold Springs, and Lombard all have the same address.
I know.
What I mean by that is either Pinecrest is Cold Springs or Lombard, and Lombard's either Pinecrest or Cold Springs.
It is very confusing. Yeah, that cabin I sold in Cold Springs, it was like, wait a minute, it says Lombard. Oh, but it's really Cold Springs.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. That's all I have.
That's all I got.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow with what do we have to talk about tomorrow?
Tomorrow we'll do
mortgage applications, durable good orders, and we'll do local numbers. Make it a great day. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. If you like what we do here, just hit that subscribe. But if you're on like Facebook and somebody else, just like us.
Didn't we have a shout out yesterday for?
Yeah, they did. And they said nothing.
I know. What was the shout out? You remember?
No, it's another day. I'm already cleaned the slate.
We've already moved on.
Yeah.
It's called a hard reset when you go to sleep.
All right. Make it a great day.
Fantastic day, guys. Bye.